Ladies and gentlemen, it's the countdown. It's the countdown that keeps me going in the middle of the morning. I'm like, when's my 10-second countdown? So, good morning, everybody. Good morning to you all. Happy Figure It Out Friday Authors Edition. My name's Coach Brock Zevan, life coach, business coach, real estate coach, and a DAD. And my co-host, the one and only Miss Michelle Wright. Good morning, Michelle. How are you doing
Top of the
today?
morning to you, Brock, and everybody on here today. Boy, we are seeing so many wonderful faces this morning, and I'm so excited for today. And I just want to give a shout out to John Hart, who connected us, and he recommended Amberly to you, and then reached out to me, and um, it's going to be an incredible day, and I hope everybody's ready.
I know. It's Mr. John Hart. Always a pleasure, brother. You always connect me with amazing people, what then connects within our family. And today's show is no different than anything. And a lot of amazing things with our guest Amberly here today. All and her and I spoke a couple weeks ago. And before I bring her on, I was very blessed. I'm very thankful that the position of being a host of a show like this, I met Michelle from other events, and you meet amazing people. Jim Morris is on here, Justine, and Amy Kane. I lit up Amy Kane. I lit her up. I was like, "Where have you been, Amy Kane?" And she's like, "I'm showing up today. I'm showing up today." What's up, Chad Free? But we meet amazing people. And John Hart introduced me to many people across the country, and he's like, "Brock, I need you to talk to Amberly. I need you to connect to Amberly. You need to talk to her. You need to talk to her." I was like, "All right, John, I'll talk to her. We'll connect." And Amberly, you have to go through like a Secret Service door knocking to get in touch with Amberly with their admin and everything else. And I broke the barrier. You all know me all. I will just keep on knocking. I'll keep on. Amberly, it's Brock. Amberly, let's talk. Let's talk. And so her and I talked, and I think we talked for almost an hour. We're like cut from the same cloth, many amazing stories. It was just like, "You too? Oh gosh, yeah, me too." And this and this. And it just was like, "We need to have you on the show, Amberly." And then I see her on all this stuff. And of course, today we're going to be talking about her book. But then I go online this morning, Amberly, and I see you are with Kendra Cook. And Kendra Cook and she's right here in my hometown. And I was just like, what a connection there. And then Michelle Wright calls me up out of the blue. And sometimes, as you know, Amberly, being a coach and being in the public and having all these, talking to people, usually when people call you up or they got something going on, it's usually like a store, like a problem, like a situation. We got to solve a problem. Michelle calls me. She's like, "I can't talk, but I can't text it to you. I can only talk to you about it." And I'm like, "Oh boy." Get a little nervous. And she calls me up. She's like, Brock, Amberly, the person who's going to be on Figure It Out Friday, she lives near me. She lives in my hometown. She's right down the road. I know the track that she talked about and the path that she did in the book and all this. She goes, "I know it. I'm standing right here at it." I was like, how crazy is that? I was like, wow, that's amazing to me. So as we get into this show to here today, Michelle's going to be talking about your book and everything that you have. We're going to talk about your Unstoppable Success Summit that you have in Dallas. But before we begin, guys, I like for us all to put some fives in the chat, put some loves in the chat for those of you watching the YouTube video, for those that are subscribing to the channel, for everything else. I want you to go in the comments. I want you all in the chats right now to put some hearts, put some fives in the chat. Let's welcome Miss Amberly to the stage. Good morning, Amberly. How are you?
Well, good morning. I'm so happy to see you. So happy to see everyone here. And what a small world, that we that we connected, we hit it off. And that Michelle, you're my neighbor. Where are you located?
I'm located in Rowlett, and
Oh,
so
that's right. You're right down the road. I'm in
right.
Heath, which most of the time no one's ever heard of Heath.
And when you said in your book that you're from Texas, I'm going like, well, that's like living in Mars. I mean, Texas is so huge, it could be anywhere. And when I was on your book club about 2 weeks ago, it just popped open, and it's exciting. That is really exciting.
Yes, and that we're so close because I tell you, when I moved out back to Texas, so I lived in California for 31 years and I moved back here and
Yeah.
was pulling into the neighborhood and saw cows and population of like 4,400. And I'm like, oh my goodness, what have I done? But it's been great. It's been awesome. And now I'm closer to you. Now I have a friend out here. So thank you, Michelle.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. We're
Friends,
gonna.
it was like such a small world when she told me, and then I was just like, really? I'm like, John Hart, I just talked to her, and it was just like one connection after the next. And of course, now I put you in my Facebook, Amberly, and I see your roadmap, and I see you all the time on my with the algorithms and everything that you're doing, and your book release, and being in New York, and now your summit and everything else. And part of the show where Michelle created this author's editions was a segment of my Figured Out Friday. And we're blessed and fortunate that we've had and overcome adversity to get to where we are today. And we know that we didn't wake up this morning or last week and be like, I made it. Wow, I knew I'd get here eventually. This was perfect. I just was blessed to be successful. There's a journey. There's a path. There's figure out moments. There's moments that in the darkest days that we don't even want to talk about. It hurts us. It pains us even to think about it. But that is what grew into us where we are today. And so the Figured Out Friday show escalated into an author's edition, as we all know. And for those that are on here for the first time today, Michelle's like, let's talk about people's book and how they created this book and their journey for the book. And I wrote a book and I thought it would be like really simple, and it ended up being not only simple, but very complicated, expensive. And there was a lot of things that took place. And I was like, wow, I had no idea. And so on our journey, Amberly, I first would like you to kind of how the show goes is you to share with us a little bit about where you are today, your journey, and then Michelle's going to get into the book and share with us some moments or some parts of the book that she really wants to reflect on. And then, you opening up with us and sharing with us some moments that you've had to fight through and grow through. And then we're going to talk about your summit at the end. So kind of just lead into us of where you are today and what that looks like for where you are, Amberly.
Well, first of all, thank you again for having me. And I love that it's Figured Out Friday because I don't know about y'all, but I still feel like I'm just figuring it out every day, sometimes one day at a time. And, my life was totally different. It wasn't that long ago that I never would have imagined I would be, have the honor of sitting here on Zoom. Truth be told, I didn't even know what Zoom was. 7 years ago, I didn't even own a computer, but I had this big idea that I wanted to write a book. And
Hey,
so
what you
my
got?
first book was called
Mouth? What you got?
Oh, Chad Free's very excited. Chad Free's excited. He doesn't even know
Chad.
he's on
Hey,
mute.
I
He's
hear
like
you.
so excited. He gets pumped up, Amberly. Some of our guests on here, and he's one of our leaders. He gets very excited.
Well, I think he was talking to his dog, and we just got a new puppy. And so I think I need to give myself like 30 extra minutes each morning just for the puppy.
And
So
and the
I'm right
puppy,
there with you, Chad. But
Amberly, your dog is very much like Leo and Chad's dog. They could be triplets.
oh my goodness. Well, little Nugget is a handful, I tell you. A love, but a handful. But yes, I think, I had a therapy dog. I went through 34 surgeries after I had a horrific motorcycle accident and we lost our little fur pup. And so my husband, for an early birthday present, got me a new puppy. But when I was saying my life was totally different, it was completely different. I didn't even live in Texas. I was in California. I had a successful fitness career. It was booming. I thought, oh, life is good. I've got the husband, I've got healthy kids. my career's booming. And that's when it all changed. And I was coming home from work on my Harley when I got T-boned by an SUV. I was thrown 30 feet. And when I woke up from a coma is when they told me that they were going to have to amputate my leg. I had a 1% chance of saving my leg. And in that moment, all I focused on was 1%. And I was like, all I could think about was, so you're saying there's a chance. There's a chance. You didn't say there wasn't a chance. You said 1%. And I hung on to that. And it got me through surgery after surgery after surgery. And I really thought the worst was over. I thought, okay, I grew up an athlete in Texas. I ran track. I loved running. I set a record for running the fastest mile in the state of Texas. And I thought as an athlete, and I was a former professional dancer, I thought, okay, it's hard, but you heal, you recover, and then you go on, you get back to what you were doing. But the pain wasn't getting any better. And I had a high tolerance to pain. I mean, being from Texas, it was like we were taught like cowgirl up, get her done.
Right.
And went to a doctor's office thinking he was going to be so proud of me because I was already upright on crutches when I was told I would probably, be bedridden for at least a year. And he looked at me and he said, "You've got something very serious." And my first thought was, well, duh, yeah, I got hit by an
Right.
SUV. It's pretty serious, but here I am. Look at me, I'm upright. And he said, "No, you've got a nerve disease. It's called complex regional pain syndrome. Your life is never going to be the same. You need to go home and get back in your wheelchair." And I said, "Okay, well, for how long?" And he said, "No, I don't think you understand. This is forever. There's no known cure. And this disease is ranked highest on the pain scale. Suppose it's where your nervous system is all out of whack. It's basically like a computer that needs to be rebooted. Nothing's working properly." And he said, "You'll never work again and you'll never walk again. And you'll probably have to wear orthopedic shoes." And I thought, I am not wearing orthopedic shoes. And then I thought, wait a minute, not work again. I was the sole provider for my family. I had a career. I had other trainers that I employed. And I felt devastated, but I went home and I didn't get back in my wheelchair. Instead, I thought, you know what? If I want to have the life that I've always imagined, it's up to me, and I'm going to have to work harder than I've ever worked before, um, to make sure that the vision that I see is a reality. And I did not realize just how hard it was going to be. It has taken a lot of grit, and I love grit, but it has also taken grace. And my second book, Joy Through the Journey, was really inspired by the grace that I've had to learn to give myself, because I've always been a pretty joyful person. I remember being, after my accident, I had my physical therapist, who, by the way, I have a key to the physical therapy facility because I was in physical therapy every single day, so much that he was like, "You know what? Here's a key." And he said, "Amberly, we have somebody that had a similar accident, and I told him about you. He wants to meet you." And I said, "You know what? Yeah, bring him on in. I want to meet him." He brings him in, and I am just starting to walk. I mean, it has taken, months I was completely bedridden for 3.5 months in the hospital the first time. And I am just so happy that I am upright, walking around, and I'm walking around in the center of the physical therapy place. I'm doing like this victory lap, and I have the biggest smile on my face. And I look like I've been through a war. I was about 20 pounds lighter. I lost muscle, completely atrophied, scarred from the hip down, and the biggest smile. And I'm so happy. I'm like, "Can you believe this? Look at this great." And he looks at the physical therapist and he says, "What is wrong with her? Why is she so happy? Does she not know how bad this is?" And you see, I was so focused on the good. And I feel like when we're focused on the good just keeps getting better. When we focus and we start our day with
Amen.
gratitude, the blessings come. And I mean, I start every day still to this day with gratitude. It's the first thing I do. Well, let's be real. I take the puppy out to use the bathroom. Then I sit down and I have my gratitude practice. And I have a group of ladies. We call ourselves the God Squad because I need accountability too. Just like, Brock and Michelle, you've brought all these amazing people together and you hold each other accountable and you meet each other in the morning. It's early. Um, you're accountable. I need that for gratitude because I know sometimes when you're going through something really hard, it might be hard to think of something you're grateful for, but there's always something to be grateful for. And that's what really saved me in the hospital bed because I was spiraling down into a depression. And in that moment, I mean, I would just look down at my leg and I would start thinking, oh, is today going to be the day they're going to amputate my leg? Is my husband going to love me? Am I going to be able to chase after my kids? Is my husband going to leave me? Am I going to die? Like it was getting bad. And I thought, wait a minute. I can sit here and focus on the what ifs and how bad it is and how scarred up I am and how much pain I'm in, or I can focus on the good that I have right now in my life, that I'm alive, that I might not be able to get outside, but I've got a beautiful view from the window. I can see the blue sky. I've got friends and clients and family that are coming in to see me. And the list went on and on and on. And I noticed that it really shifted my perspective, and it still does. And it's my medicine. Gratitude really turns what you can't do into what you can do, and what you don't have into what you do have. And so it really inspired me to write this book because I had started to kind of let my gratitude practice slip a little bit. I don't know about any of y'all, but do any of you have like morning rituals or things that you do every day? Like for me, I like to move my body. I like to work out. I start my day by getting on my knees and praying. Um, I have different things that I do. I drink my gut health drink, all these little things that I do. And I started letting them slip. And I
Let me
started
ask
to
you a
notice,
question, Amberly.
yeah.
So because when you said the word slip, I think right now, for those that are listening, maybe you triggered in something. Maybe you're slipping in your real estate, you're slipping in your morning routine, you're slipping in your evening routine, you're slipping in your workout, you're slipping. At what point, Amberly? Because sometimes I think it happens in our unconscious brain. I think successful people like you, you're able to elevate it and put it up here to the conscious stage of what it is. So when where was the point that you recognized slipping was going on?
Well, I recognized it. Let's be clear. I really recognized it, but I was trying to just keep some blinders on, like, yeah, I'll get to that. I'll get to that. I don't know. Like, you're like, yeah, these pants don't quite fit the same way. Oh, I'll get to that. I'll get to that. I didn't get enough sleep again. My eyes are a little bloodshot. Oh, I'll get to the sleep tomorrow, and I was just on this grind, and I'm sharing like how raw and real this is because I made a really, I was made an embarrassment of myself. And I thought, I don't want that to happen to any of you. I had worked so hard to build this business. And there was one day where I had let these things slip. And this one day, I had 3 keynotes that I was doing in one day. They were all virtual. Thank goodness they were all, from my home office. And then I was helping one of my clients. She had a new book coming out, and I was going to help her. And I was going to go on Instagram, go live. Well, because I've had so many surgeries on my leg, if I get one little scratch, I can get an infection. And so I wasn't feeling well. And I thought, uh-oh, I think I have an infection. And I thought, well, I don't have time to go to the doctor. I'll just go to urgent care. Went to urgent care. They're like, this infection's bad. We need to hospitalize you. And I'm like, I got another keynote to give. Like, I don't have time to go to the hospital. They're like, we can give you the strongest dosage of antibiotics that we have. If that doesn't work, you're going to have to go to the hospital. I'm like, just give me those antibiotics. I'll be good. And of course, making time to go to urgent care, I didn't make time to eat, popped
Mm,
some of the antibiotics, and then I got on live and started to crash. It was like my body just wouldn't go anymore, and my brain wasn't even functioning. And I ended that call short, didn't even make it to the bedroom, collapsed on the sofa, and woke up the next day to people going, "Are you okay? You didn't seem yourself." And I thought that was a wake up call for me. And it's also what really inspired me to write the book because, you know, we can get caught up, or I don't know about you, but I can get caught up in like the hustle and the grit. I was always really good at grit. I wasn't good at a lot of things. I wasn't the most talented, but man, I could work hard. But then when are we going to learn to give ourselves the grace? When are we going to learn to take care of ourselves? And a friend of mine told me, and this really hit home for me. She said, "Amberly, your impact is only as strong as you are healthy." And I thought, yeah, how am I going to be of service to others and their success if I don't have my health? And so I got back to basics. And when I say back to basics, like I have to remember one thing, HALT, which stands for never get too hungry, angry, lonely, or tired.
Mm.
Because then a lot of times, for me anyway, I will slip. I won't pick up the best habits. I won't maybe get to the gym. I'll eat the cookie instead of the healthy, you know, chicken and rice or, you know, whatever it may be, but getting back to basics and really stopping to think about what does spark joy in your life? What brings you joy and doing those things. So, I mean, I just got back from New York where I took a full day. I know that sounds wild, but a full day. Anybody taking a full day off your phone? Maybe all of you do that every week. For me, I not so much. I don't take time off from my phone. Took a
Mhm.
full day away from my phone and I just like focused on being there, being in the present moment with my husband. Oh my goodness, I felt like a new person. So when's the
Isn't it
last time
crazy?
that you
Just doing
paused?
something that simple of just removing your phone is, and it's hard because it is also our lifeline. We pick up bad behaviors and habits. I'm just right there. I'm guilty as charged of like my phone is attached to me, but it does make a difference when you remove yourself from it.
Oh, it does. I mean, I think that you're able to spark more creativity. You're able to refuel yourself. You're able to focus on your intentions. You're able to connect with your heart, connect to your higher power, and really just be in the present moment with the people that you care about the most, whether that's your family or whether that's your client or your friends, whatever, whoever that is. And that means a lot. You know, and I think about even when I spend time with my daughters, I don't want to be looking down at my phone. And my youngest daughter actually taught me a very valuable lesson. So I have a home office, and one day I come out of my office and she's trying to talk to me, and I'm looking down on my phone doing stuff. And she goes, "Mom, Mom." I said, "Just 1 minute. I'm just trying to finish up this email really quick." And she goes, "Well, if you're still working, then you need to go back in your office." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So from that moment on, I try to be present and be where my feet are, meaning like if I'm at work and my family knows I'm about to go on stage to speak at an event, I'm all in. I'm there with the attendees. I'm there to give all that I can give at that event. But when I'm home and I'm not in my office and my, you know, my door's open, I'm out in the living room, then I try to be really, really present in the moment. And I think it's important, and I think it matters not to just for yourself, but to the people around you as well.
Mhm. It's so
Yeah.
like I'm reading some of the chats here that the fulfillment as Chad said, but like I have two young kids and 6 and 12, and we do like I have a home office and it's hard like when you're with your kids and Bryce always, Dad, are you gonna put your phone down? Dad, are you gonna put your phone down? And it pains me. It's like somebody taking a 2x4 and hit me across the head and being like, no, Brock, but like this can wait. If you coach people to tell people to wait, you gotta like lead from the front, and you gotta lead by like when nobody else is watching. Like I integrity and character to me is such an important ingredient. Like if I coach and tell people, like I gotta do it myself, but it's hard. It's just like, well, I just and and just hearing your story and seeing these chats on here, just with resonating, and I'm sure many people do it too. How many of you put a 7 in the chat? How many of you, your phone is your vice? You spend too much time on your phone. Put a 7 in the chat. If we're talking to somebody right now, it's like, man, yeah, you're right. My phone, my phone, my phone, my phone.
Yeah.
How did
So,
it get to 8:42,
well,
Michelle? It
and
already is
I was just going
8:42.
to
We got
say
3 minutes.
Amberly, what you've been sharing is really your book. And so I didn't even want to stop because it's a journey, and you have created a rhythm and a flow, which maps to your heart and maps to the heartbeat of God. I mean, and it brings joy in the morning. And every morning we have a choice. We can be happy or sad, mad or glad. And you choose to be happy. You choose to take joy, and that's your strength. And I just really commend you for it. Before we go, and we only have like 2 minutes, there's some things coming up in your life. And what I wanted to say is I would love to invite some people to register for your event, and I would host a table if, people are in Dallas area on I believe it's the 25th,
25th and
26th
26th.
coming up. And the big part of it is the 26th at Saturday. And you have some incredible guests coming. Did you want to share who's coming along with you?
Yes, if you're in the Dallas area, or even if you're not in the Dallas area, come on over to Dallas the 25th and 26th. It's the Unstoppable Success Summit. I've got Trent Shelton, Renee Rodriguez, Tamara Andres, Brooke Hemingway, and some of my mastermind members who are taking the stage. And it's really for people who want to increase their influence and make a bigger impact, and so they can make a bigger income. And so I'd love to see you there, and come join Michelle. And you know what? Michelle and Brock, everybody here, how about I give y'all a discount? Can I do that? I'll do that.
We don't say no to discounts here. We don't say no to discounts.
If you put in the code webinar, you can get $100 off your ticket. So come join us. I don't know if you guys know of Renee or Trent or Brooke or Jimmy Nelson as the MC. I have an official MC this year. I've always MC'd my own events, but yeah, if you're ready to spark more joy, if you're ready to go from feeling stuck to unstoppable, come join us. There's something powerful about getting in the room and surrounding yourself with like-minded people who are passionate, going after their big goals and dreams together.
Okay, and one more thing, Amberly does so many things. And one thing is a podcast. And for your authors out there that want to write a book, she has a podcast with, let me see, Terry Whalen. It's From Manuscript to Market, Navigating the Book Publishing Journey. So it's a little bit different approach than we've taken in the past, but it's an incredible podcast. I highly recommend it. And I think, Brock, we're at the end now. You have your question.
My infamous question, as I ask each and every Friday and Figured Out Friday, Amberly, what's the one thing that you'd like to leave us with today? This audience that you have here today, the people that listen to the recording, what's the one thing, everything that you've been through, gone through, elevated yourself, separated yourself from the unhappy to the happy? What's the one thing you'd like to leave us with today?
I would say that you have a choice, that joy is not waiting for the perfect circumstances. It's not waiting till everything is going right. It's choosing gratitude and purpose as your foundation. And you can go out there and be a joy sparker. And I encourage all of you to go out there today and every day and think about doing some joy spotting, meaning go out there and actively seek things that bring you joy, whether it's a beautiful sunrise or a new puppy, or you hear a song, or you see a smile, or you smile at someone, but that you get to choose joy, and it's possible. So thank you so much for having me here with y'all this morning.
I love it. I
Oh,
love it.
thank you so much.
I'm going to share my one note. I always take notes every time. And you said something right in the beginning. If anybody didn't catch it, you can lean into this right here. You said this that really resonated with me. And I say this many, many times. I love the line that you said because there's many times in our lives when the odds are against us. It doesn't look like it's possible. I love the saying in the Bible where it says God makes the impossible possible if you believe and have the faith. But you said this line that resonated with me, Amberly. You said, so you're saying there's a chance. And it doesn't matter if it's 99% or 1%. There's a chance. There's a chance in every one of you. And Amberly took that chance and took that opportunity to grow. And I love that line that you said, so you're saying there's a chance. And it really resonated with me. And for those that are on here wondering that the odds are stacked against you, listen and read her story because you all have a chance no matter what takes place in your life. So thank you for that message. That really meant a lot to me.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Amberly.
Thank you. Thank y'all so much.
Amberly, thank you very much for being on here. Guys, it is Figured Out Friday Authors Edition. Put some fives in the chat. Put some love in the chat on here. We got everything will be on the YouTube. Brock's even go to my YouTube page, subscribe to my page. This recording will be on there for those that watch it, for those that check it out. Feel free to hit the subscribe button to hear more about Amberly. All the information will be in the description to take a look at that. Join Michelle. Michelle's going to be there. For those of you who are going to be down in Dallas, come see her at the Unstoppable Success Summit. Can't wait to see you again, Amberly. God bless you. God bless everybody that's on here. I'll be back Monday morning at 8:15 as your host. Mondays with Maxwell. I'll be here. Till then, God bless you all. Have a fabulous weekend. Stay
Great
safe.
weekend.
See ya.
See ya.